this word, that it would change me. That's what Corey's talking about, the fire of God and being changed by God's presence. And so I walked and, did all sorts of nasty things, and I'd go through depression, and I thought that the depression was mine or the anger was mine, and I identified with that. So whenever I went somewhere, people would say, wow, he's really quiet, or he's really reserved, he never says anything. And I identified with the sin. And that's who I thought I was, even though I was a Christian. And then somebody started to pray for me when I was in my 30s. And I was sitting on an airplane, and I heard the voice of God, as clear as day. I was sitting there, and I heard God's voice. He asked me to do something, because everybody knows he's got something for you to do. You didn't just become a Christian to sit in that chair right there. He's got something for you to do. And so somebody was praying for me, and I heard the voice of God. And as I heard it, I just started crying. I mean, you've seen some people, they come up here and they get in God's presence and they cry because they're just overwhelmed by love. That's all that is. They're just overwhelmed by love. Or they sit up there and they kind of twitch and geek, and they look really foolish. They're just overwhelmed by love in God's presence. So I'm sitting on this airplane, and I just started to cry. And there was this lady next to me, and she was reading this little book about angels. I was like, that's really weird. I heard the voice of God. There's this lady reading the book about angels. But the funny thing is, she couldn't look at me. She had to in the airplane, she put dark sunglasses on. And she wouldn't even acknowledge me. This was like kind of this new age thing about angels. And I went the next week, and I told my pastor, hey, I heard the voice of God. He told me to do this, this, and this. And because revival was coming. I had no idea what that word meant. Okay? Revival was coming to a church. I had no idea what that meant. This is just what God said. He said, God said this. And she said, oh, wow, that's interesting. You got to go up to this church where the presence